Welcome to Aura Room. I'm your host Yusuf, and today we step into a space of depth, grace, and raw human truth with the remarkable Cyndee Dhalai. A poet, a teacher, a counselor, a mother, a widow, a survivor, and above all, a living testament to the unbreakable spirit. Her life has been shaped by illness, loss, and unimaginable physical limits. Yet, she continues to walk, write, uplift, and illuminate the world with a heart anchored in magic, beauty, and resilience. Her journey reminds us that life is both fragile and fierce, and that our identity is so much bigger than the experiences that try to define us. Today, we explore what it means to live as a miracle in motion. With that, I welcome Cyndee Dhalai to the show.
Thank you very much, Yusuf.
Cindy, you have lived through experiences that many would find overwhelming. What inner belief has allowed you to continually rise above what your body was predicted to do?
The fact that you can only go up, and even if you hit rock bottom, there is a
Mm,
ledge.
yes.
Because we always say you hit rock bottom, but remember when you hit rock bottom, you don't keep going down. You
Mm,
reach, and from there you can only rise up. And very often is if you believe that there's hope and better can come or something good can come of the situation you are in, then you can move.
mm,
It's all a matter of your perception and what eyes you look through at life.
mm. Was there a specific moment when that belief became your only lifeline that you had?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Because at certain points in life, you face a lot of obstacles and you're like, how am I going to get through? I mean, what could possibly come out of this? And I think there are a few instances in my life, like when um I chose to get married out of my religion
Mm,
and you got ostracized for that and you got disowned. So that was one point, and I said, okay, but look at the other thing that happened. I do have someone I'm going to start my life with. And
mm,
then when I was diagnosed and I was given the diagnosis, my only response was, okay. And everybody wondered, listen, you just got told that you have these illnesses in your body and it's getting worse and you're allergic to drugs and you can't get any treatment. And all you're going to say is, okay. Because at that point, I had reached a point where all there is hope because
mm,
I can't control things. Nobody can control your own body. You can't control situations or anything. And so I said, something must come out of this. Something will come out of it.
mm. You know, your story reminds me that resilience is not like a trait that somebody is born with. It's a choice shaped by perspective, and that too, if we ha- held on to it, it helps us even in the darkest hours.
That is true because, like, okay, I could be in the same situation you are, and I may see things differently.
Mm,
And I can see something bad and say, okay, what are the advantages in it? And you can say, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Always happens to me. Life is so unfair. Nothing good comes on my life. And what else is going to go wrong?
mm,
But I can
yeah.
always say, well, what are the advantages of, say, me getting sick? What were the advantages? What good came out of the situation I was in when I was in a fog of illnesses and I flatlined and nobody thought I would live? And, doctors said I would never walk and all these things. I mean, what good came out of it? Well, I did have to retire medically unfit because I was a teacher and I was also like a special ed teacher. So I did counseling and things like that. And also I was a mother and I was very independent. I love my life. I
Mm.
love being able to just do my own things and drive and go out and, you know, be present. And I couldn't do that. So most people would think, okay, my life is over. This is how I'm going to be for the rest of my life. I'm
Mm.
confined to a wheelchair. I lost the job that I love. Well, you didn't lose it, but you had to give up the job that you love. I can't be as supportive to everybody else as I used to be. This is not the life I want. I mean, nobody wants to be like that. And
Mm.
initially, I did falter, and I did
Mm.
say, there has to be better, and I don't want this. I want to go back to the life I had before. And you do get stubborn and angry a bit sometimes,
Yeah.
but then, like, as with everything else, your moods affect everybody else. And when I take stock after being told that, you have no idea what it's like when you flatline or when you get really, really sick, because I wasn't before. All I know is my body was here, but I didn't really relate to all the things that were happening to me because that 4 years, I just have like brief glimpses of, like, after I flatlined and I came back, I would be aware of things. And then my body would just go into a next set of illnesses. And
Mm.
that was it. So after, like, my family were telling me, they were getting frustrated. You have no idea what it's like. And I sat down and I said, no, 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 this is not who you are. You've always been the supportive one, the one who always there for everybody, the one who always helped everybody through everything, friends, acquaintances, colleagues at work. And now look at you, you're being selfish. And so I said, okay, what are the advantages of being in the situation that I am? I mean, I don't think you could possibly see any advantage in a wheelchair home, not being able to do anything much, because this is your life. You're kind of, in a sense, you're kind of imprisoned. And I said the advantages were I had more free time. I could
Mm.
I could actually listen to people and hear what they're saying and what they're not saying. I can be more present for my children. I can be more patient because I learned to be patient and to kind of control yourself a bit more. Now, I was a teacher, especially to little, like, young children. So I was
Mm.
patient. This taught me more patient in that, okay, you can't do things the way that you did before, but maybe you can
Yeah.
get time and find a way.
Mm.
And I also said, okay, fine, this gives me more time to do things that I always thought about, like to
Mm.
sew, calligraphy, or to, listen to people and, like, counsel people and actually help more people because there were people who, like, were going through illnesses with their family members and they didn't know what to do and stuff like that. And they would call and I would talk to them over the phone and kind of encourage them and tell them, like, how to deal with things and stuff. And so those are my advantages. And it forced me to slow down and
Mm.
see, okay, I can't do this, but I can do this still. And you speak about resilience, and it is quite true. We are not born with resilience because, I mean, most people like to use the analogy of a seed. A seed is planted, a seed has the potential for growth, but
Mm.
not every seed you put in a pot, you might put three and only one might grow. Why
Mm.
does that one grow? Because that one, did the seed try harder or was it just how it's supposed to be? So, like everybody else, we can either learn from our environment about, okay, we push through no matter what it gets. And very
Yeah.
often we learn resilience from other people, from looking at other people
Mm.
as a child. Because when we were a child, you mimic what you see.
Yes.
And if you see your parents just or people around you just say, well, that's life.
Mm.
You know, you can only do so much. Or that is not for us. Then you incorporate that into you.
Mm.
And I did get that growing up also in that, you were born into this environment and this is how it's supposed to be. But then I said, no, there must be better. And you see, resilience comes from when you say, okay, this is hard. I can't see a way out, but I am still getting up. I'm still doing things. I'm still breathing. I'm still here. So if I'm still here, maybe I can take a small baby step and look at something else, Okay,
Mm.
I love
Mm.
my job. Maybe this is an opportunity for me to send out more applications to different people. Maybe this is opportunity for me to look at a skill that I want to pursue. Not everything has to be paid for, of course, obviously. You can go online, you can go on YouTube, you can learn a skill or whatever and things like that. Or maybe this is like I can go into a different field,
Yes.
or maybe I can ask people for advice about
Mm.
what they think. And you never know, a friend might know somebody who needs help with something or whatever. And these things happen. And that's where resilience comes. Resilience is not I have to be strong and I can capable. What resilience has to be with first begins with taking the first step. Because you can have all the best intentions and said, I can do this. Yes. But if you just sit and do nothing,
Mm.
then
Nothing will happen.
nothing would happen.
You have played so many roles in your life: child, teacher, patient, guide. Which identity surprised you the most, and how it shaped your soul?
I think the identity surprised me the most was patience, was being a patient
Okay.
because I was never ill before. Like to say, okay, yeah, we all get normal illnesses and stuff like that and thing. But then, because before, like all of my rules have always been like supportive and helping and giving and being there for everybody else.
Yes.
And to suddenly be the one now who others have to help and others have to look after, and then having to deal with my own limitations and a complete change in life. Because I guess the word was prided, and pride is something that I guess most of all, there are things we all are proud of.
Yes.
And I always prided myself on the fact that I can look after myself and I can do things and by myself. Even though I was married, I like to do things to be able to say, okay, yeah, I did this by myself or I'm capable, and that in itself is pride because when you say, I don't need anybody's help, even though you have help available to you, so kind of you like to do things for yourself. And that's what I like to do. So when I became a patient and I couldn't do things that I normally would do for myself.
Mm.
And I had to get help to go places and to get into a car and have a wheelchair. And, I couldn't reach things. I couldn't, like, be comfortable. I couldn't just pick up myself and do something that I wanted to do because even going outside in my backyard, I couldn't because, like, I can go out in the grass with the wheelchair, obviously, because, and that kind of hit me. And then, like, when the illnesses in my body, I wasn't present. So, like, I wasn't really being able to take care of myself because I can't control what happens,
Mm.
how my body is going to react. And the fact that I can't take medication means that how am I going to learn to, if I have a pain and I suffer from migraines, if I had migraines, I can't do it. I can't take anything for it. So, you have to learn to bear the pain. And so that took a lot of adjusting. And that was like the most impactful because, like I
Mm.
meant, that was what made me stop really. No, I knew things from before. I did things, I knew about mindfulness. I know how to like catch my mind when I was drifting into bad
Mm.
things. I
Mm.
know how know like auto behavior sometimes and with my children and my teaching job, you learn a lot about patience and listening and caring and supporting and things like that. But then I realized I never did that for me. We do it for everybody else.
Yeah.
But then it taught me that um, people could only do so much for me. But at the
Mm.
end, I have to look at my own care because I can't get outside help with pain because I can't get medication. So how am I going to manage the migraines and the pains in my arms and back and my stomach and heart? And how am I going to do all these things if I can't? And what I did realize is that we do have a threshold
Yes.
of how much pain you can bear. And then Because a lot of people function, they have a headache, but they still go to work and they still drive because you've learned like there's a threshold wherein, and then sometimes you just say, listen, I can't drive
Mm.
because my headache is so bad. That is when you cross the threshold. So I had to learn to like raise the threshold of what I can bear. And most
Mm.
times people have no idea if I have a migraine, if I am hurting or anything because you learn over time to just say the more I focus on the pain, the worse it feels. You know, like if you have a cut and you keep fiddling with it and saying, oh my, this thing is hurting me and whatever, and it's never going to heal, and it's like, so of course it feels longer,
Yes.
right? But if you just say, okay, yeah, I have a headache, and I say, but you go and you kind of distract yourself from that,
Mm.
you learn how to manage your pain better. And after a while, you begin to notice that, yeah, the headache is bad, but it's not as bad as I thought it was. And if you keep doing this all the time with any pain that you have, once you can say, oh, acknowledge it and then like reshift or redirect what is doing things. And that's what I did. You know, I learned to redirect from what was happening in my body that I could never control. Because right
Mm.
now, I have things happening every day is like a gift to me because medically I'm not supposed to be here.
Wow. You often describe life as a miracle and magic. Is there a practice or simple mindset shift that helped you reconnect with that magic and in turn will help us and our listeners to connect with that magic?
You see, what we don't realize is that we are born into a ready made world. We
Mm.
come here and everything is already here, right?
Yes.
And so as time goes by, when you're a child, you see everything as it's a learning experience. Everything is new and exciting. You know,
Mm.
you go beach for the first time and it's so amazing. But by the time you grow up, it's like, yeah, you go to the beach and the sea and you love playing in the water and playing in the sand. But your focus is mostly on being with the people around you and having fun because you're at the beach. But you don't focus on what is around you and what is natural and the gift that you are given to
Mm.
have the sea and the sand and stuff like that. And you see, that's where we miss the simple things as we grow up. We miss seeing through the eyes of everything is a miracle because
Mm.
grass growing is a miracle, right? You can pave it, but if there's a single crack, you ever notice how when you walk on the sidewalk, you may see grass growing up through the sidewalk, or you have a yard and you everything and you make sure that everything is all paved and neat. And then suddenly you see through the edge of the wall, there's a blade of grass growing. And you wonder, well, no, you know, everything. But so that's the miracle of life because
Mm.
that shows miracle because things can come true that you don't expect. And we have to learn to see that because the fact that you can get up in the morning is a gift. The fact that your body can function normally is a gift. The fact that you can look up and see the sky and clouds, not just the act of seeing, because that in itself is a gift, but to see the vastness and know that there is something greater that made all of this. And I don't understand. You see, we take the sky for granted, we take clouds for granted, we take rain for granted, we take the moon for granted because we said,
Mm.
there's no, you're accustomed to that all our lives, right? Yeah, but those are miracles.
Yes.
If the moon were to disappear, can we make it come back? Can we pull a moon into our... No, we can't. You see, so you have to focus on the small miracles. The small miracles is the fact that you can wake up. Maybe you had a bed to sleep in. Maybe your body functions normally. Because to me, that is a gift. Because when I was in the wheelchair
Mm.
for over 11 years, not being able to stand up on your own 2 feet and go from here to there and to just walk out the door or put your feet on grass and walk, or to walk to the edges somewhere or walk on sand because I couldn't go to the beach because my wheelchair can't go to the beach.
Yes.
Right. You can look at it, but people don't seem to realize just the feel of the sand on your feet or the feel of grass or to even be able to stand up and brush your teeth or take a shower. You're standing on your own 2 feet. You see, and that's where it comes in. Is only you see, life is balance and life is also contrast in that you don't know something unless you don't have it.
Yes.
If you don't have money, then you kind of worry, well, I don't have money. And then all the things then you think about all the things you could have done with the money you have or why you need it, right? The same way, if you don't have, if the sun isn't shining and rain is falling, you want the sun. And then when the sun is too hot, you wish it would rain. So you see, we have to learn to look at, a lot of people say being present in the moment, and be present in the moment, yes, and also be present in the fact that you are a gift and you are given gifts all around you. And it's like if you have to go down and write a whole set of things or go looking for stuff. All you have to do is open your eyes. The fact that I don't want to use a comparison. People say, okay, well, you have this, but millions of people in the world don't have that. That's a normal comparison. And sometimes we dismiss that. But sometimes when you look at what you actually have around you, the simple things, it doesn't have to be a comparison to what other people have, or you should be grateful because you have a job, you have a home, you have a family, or whatever. Yeah, you are grateful for all those things, but the real miracle happens when you can open your eyes and look at life through a new perspective and see there is a sky above me and I can see it. There is grass. I have somebody I can call when something is going bad in my life.
Mm.
I can smile at people and they can smile back at me. I can say thank you. Somebody can tell me thank you or ask for my help and I can do it. Those are all miracles. And that is something we take for granted. And we don't look at that as a miracle because it's an everyday thing. But in actuality, those are miracles. The fact that you can talk to somebody and somebody can support you, or the fact that when something goes wrong, you can sit down and you can think and you can feel and you can rationalize. And yes, you get angry. And yes, you think, but at the end of the day, you can move through it and gain some knowledge from it. Okay, next time I'm not going to say this, or I know the better person to look for because this is not what I want in someone, or I suffered a loss and I will always carry that in me, but I'm still here. And maybe in some way I can talk to other people who are going through loss and I can let them see that they're not alone. So you see, all these things are miracles.
Yes.
And I give you a whole list of things that are everyday thing that we just assume.
Yeah. Cindy, is there any last message that you want to leave us with?
Life experiences are inevitable. There will be pain, there will be joy, there will be days when everything seems to just be the same old, same old. But people will say things, people will not good things, bad things. But what we must do is realize that nobody can determine your expectations or define what your life is but you. You are the only person who can say, this is what I want, this is my life, and there's only one you in the world. There will never be another you. And so you have to learn to open up and see you and accept yourself as you are and love who you are as you are.
As we close this conversation, let Cindy's journey echo in your heart that you are more expensive than your pain, more luminous than your losses, and more powerful than the expectations life tries to place on you. There is only one you in the existence, unrepeatable, irreplaceable, and overflowing with quiet brilliance. Carry that truth forward and let it reshape how you meet your days. Take one small step today to honor the magic within you. Thank you so much for joining.